In June 1990, the Los Angeles radio station 106.7 K-Rock introduced its audience to a new comedy segment, Confess Your Crime. But just before 9 a.m. on June 13th, the fun ended with a call from an unidentified man who made a chilling confession. The station's DJs, Gene Baxter and Kevin Ryder, started the call by asking the man for his name. However, he did not want to say it. Gene asked if he wanted to confess a crime, and he said he did. He said that he felt that he really needed to tell someone about this. The DJs were not concerned about the confession at first, instead trying to find something funny about it for their listeners. The man continued by saying he was not sure if he should talk about his crime. Kevin asked if he had ever been caught for the crime. He said he had not. Gene asked the man to tell them more about it. The man said that he had been with his girlfriend for about 6 years and that they were planning on getting married. One day, he came home and caught her in bed with a good friend of his. He became enraged and beat her. He said that he hurt her very badly and was not sure if she even survived the attack. The DJs asked if he had actually killed her, and he said that he knew that he did. At that point, the DJs knew that they had to tell someone about the man's confession. They also hoped to get more information from him. They asked him if it had happened in another city, and he said yes. He said that he had come down to Los Angeles as a result of the murder. He also said that police had contacted his friends and his work about the murder. However, they had not contacted him because they did not know he was involved with her. Kevin, unsure what to think, asked the man if the confession was real, and he confirmed it. They asked if he had told anyone about it before, and he said no. The DJs told the man that they wanted to get him some help. However, he did not want to stay on the phone. He then hung up. After sitting there for a few seconds to process the information, the DJs decided to go to a commercial. They have not used the Confess Your Crime segment since. The DJs immediately contacted the police. Investigators knew that the most important thing to do was to try to identify the caller. However, they also felt that they first needed to identify the murder itself. They wanted to determine where it happened, when it happened, which police agency handled it, etc. However, so far, they have been unsuccessful. They also believe that the caller may want to get it over with and turn himself in. They hope that he does that. Although the possibility exists that the caller's confession was a hoax, authorities suspect that it is legitimate. They theorize that the alleged murder may have taken place in Northern California or somewhere in the Northwest United States. They believe that the caller is a Caucasian male between 35 and 45 years old. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department spent nearly 150 man-hours investigating this case. After 9 months, scores of unsolved homicides were narrowed down to one specific case in Oroville, California. Just 2 months before the on-air confession, 19-year-old Angela Cummings was found shot to death in her boyfriend's apartment. Police suspected foul play but lacked the evidence to make an arrest. Police found several similarities between the confession and Angela's case. After the connection was made, a detective contacted Angela's mother, Liz, and told her about the confession. She listened to the confession tape and was sickened by it. However, she was also hopeful that it would lead to a break in Angela's case. During Kevin and Gene's interviews, they were directly asked if the confession call was a hoax created to boost their ratings. Both denied it. Kevin said that there were certain lines they would not cross to get more ratings. Gene noted that the experts said it was true and claimed not to know the caller. However, as it turned out, Kevin and Gene were lying. In April 1991, the confession call was exposed as a hoax, conceived and executed by the two DJs, apparently as a publicity stunt. The scam was made public by former K-Rock intern Dan Feelies after he learned the truth about the confession. He had actually received phone calls from people who believed their loved one was the victim in the case. He was stunned when he learned of the hoax and shocked that the DJs kept it up for so long. Kevin and Gene had conspired with Arizona DJ Doug "The Slug" Roberts to pull off the publicity stunt. It was Doug's voice heard making the bogus confession. Coincidentally, or not, he was later hired by K-Rock as a DJ. Angela's mother, Liz, was also shocked to learn that the call was a hoax. She felt that what they did was despicable and cruel, playing with other people's lives to get more ratings. Kevin and Gene eventually confessed to their involvement in the hoax and confirmed that it was done to boost their ratings. On April 11th, they, along with Doug, were temporarily suspended by K-Rock without pay. Just 10 days after the hoax was exposed, the station put them back on the air. In May, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department billed K-Rock $12,170 for the detective work that was done to investigate the case. The DJs were forced to pay the bill out of their own pockets. Infinity Broadcasting Corporation, which owned K-Rock, also required them to perform 149 hours of community service. In December, the Federal Communications Commission completed its investigation into the case. They issued a 4-page letter admonishing K-Rock's management for its deliberate distortion of programming. Sadly, Angela's murder remains unsolved. The hoax left deep scars, damaging reputations and trust, while Angela's family continues to seek justice for her unsolved murder. In a 2022 interview with the podcast Criminal, Kevin claimed that he did not know what crime Roberts would confess to until he called into the show, and that murder was a billion miles beyond what he and Gene had expected. In 2021, Ryder and Roberts launched a new radio show called Kevin and Sluggo on Los Angeles' classic rock station KLOS-FM 95.5. marking their return to the airwaves after their time at K-Rock. However, Kevin Ryder and Doug "Sluggo" Roberts were fired from their afternoon show on KLOS-FM in September 2024. The reason behind their dismissal has not been officially disclosed by the station, but it occurred amidst widespread speculation that the parent company, Meruelo Media, may be considering selling its radio properties. Gene Baxter, formerly of The Kevin and Bean Show, relocated to England after leaving the show in 2019. He has joined Podcast Radio, a platform dedicated to promoting podcasts.